The whole world has one thing in common, and no, it's not what you're thinking. Every single country is in debt. Yes, you heard that right. Today, the United States owes more than $38 trillion. The European Union carries around $14 trillion in debt, and even Japan, probably not the country you expected, owes nearly $9 trillion. And it's not just them. Oil-rich Saudi Arabia, Germany, the economic powerhouse of Europe, China, one of the world's strongest manufacturing giants. Even they carry debts worth hundreds of billions of dollars. At this point, a very simple yet fascinating question comes to mind. Wait a second. If everyone is in debt, who actually lent all that money? That question is the very first step toward understanding the modern financial system. Because the deeper you dig, the more you'll realize that nothing is as simple as it appears. Most of us think of debt as nothing more than a burden that has to be repaid. But in reality, debt is the foundation of the economic system we live in today. Wars, economic crises, booms, recessions. Hey, behind all of them lies the same invisible mechanism. The truth is, the world isn't indebted to one person or one country. In fact, the world is, to a large extent, indebted to itself. But that doesn't mean everyone benefits equally. Today, total global debt has surpassed $315 trillion. So how did we get here? The real story begins in 1694. Who really owns the money? A large portion of America's debt is actually owed to American institutions. Banks, pension funds, mutual funds, insurance companies, and the Federal Reserve all hold U.S. Treasury bonds. Among foreign investors, Japan and China stand out. However, contrary to popular belief, America's biggest creditor isn't China. It's its own financial system. Money constantly circulates within the system. The government issues treasury bonds. Investors buy them. The central bank purchases them when necessary. Interest payments are funded through taxes, and that money eventually flows back to investors once again. And this isn't unique to the United States. The global financial system works in much the same way. So how does this system continue without collapsing? The answer is just one word: trust. Investors don't believe governments will pay off every dollar of their debt. They believe governments will continue rolling that debt over. The examples of Greece, Argentina, and Sri Lanka showed us exactly what can happen when that trust begins to disappear. In the modern economy, government debt isn't designed to be paid off. It's designed to be continuously rolled over. So why don't governments simply eliminate their debt? Because government bonds are among the most important forms of collateral in the global financial system. If the world's major governments suddenly paid off all their debt, banks, pension funds, and central banks would lose some of their safest and most trusted assets. Today's monetary system is built largely on debt. So, who really benefits from debt? Interest payments are never distributed equally across society. The interest funded by taxpayers ultimately flows to the investors and institutions that hold government bonds. That's why global debt and wealth inequality often grow side by side. So, who is the real creditor? Of course, it isn't a single person or a single institution. It's everyone who participates in this system. Debt is no longer just an obligation. It has become the foundation of the modern financial system. This entire system is built on trust. And as long as that trust remains intact, the system will continue to function. If this video gave you a new perspective, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.